Hi there. It is Thursday. I'm up early. I have to take my car to get the brakes done. This message is for anyone, but specifically my grandchildren and my daughter and her man, and plus other people I care about, which anybody watching this, I'll spread the care. I can remember in the 90s with the E. coli breakout and first hearing about E. coli, and the Jack in the Box, and kids, were getting sick. And I think, four of them died. I just Googled. But there was it was beyond that. It was like organ failure. It was people who I thought needed transplants. And then I remember reading, following up some of the people who had gotten sick. They had like lifelong struggle health issues. And it had to do with the hamburger patties not getting to the right temperature. Then you started hearing about like future E. coli breakouts with like romaine lettuce or cilantro, and then reading about that it was like the watering systems where they were at were contaminated, and how my understanding is like the misuse of I'm going to lower this because I'm still trying to figure out what might be like copyright strikes and stuff. And so I have the TV going. I like watching Love After Lockup and those kind of shows. But anyway, so I can remember reading different things because I found it very interesting about, food and food supply and like what we're eating. And it just like came to me that like, we need to make sure we cook our food, that this E. coli crap, it can get onto the plants, or is it systemic? Can it get in the plants? Like when they found it in stuff that wasn't, ground beef. I mean, my understanding, when you eat a hamburger, you're not just eating like, one part of a cow. It's many, 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 maybe 1,000 cows that are put into making ground beef. But so I've always been very careful with ground beef. And when I was on my road trip and visiting with my grandchildren, my grandson, he likes hamburgers, and I was telling him about this, that don't eat a hamburger if it's pink. He had a hamburger and it was a little bit pink, and we had servers ask, how would you like your hamburger cooked? This was, in the South. And I thought, well done. But it's not even just that. It's like somebody touching that hamburger meat, then they're touching your bun, they're touching your onions, the cross-contamination, So it's like when I order something, I don't want that dang leaf of lettuce on it. I don't want the produce on it. I don't want it, And it's almost like just cook your own hamburger, touch it, wash your hands, cook it, clean the surface. I have a little spray bottle that has like a mixture of bleach, water, and Dawn soap, and I spray stuff. I get stomach aches easy because I have, I think, anxiety that affects my stomach. So I don't want to have to guess like what is it that's making me not feel good. But I know I'm rambling because that's what I do. But when I saw this most recent occurrence and people getting sick, and knowing that, my grandchildren go to the Golden Arches, I've never been a big fan of that company, and it's a like worldwide company. It's a very powerful company. Ronald McDonald. I mean, I know they do a lot of good things, like the Ronald McDonald House, all that stuff. But I do have a McDonald's story. When I gave birth to my daughter, I was like really hungry. And they brought me a one egg omelet with a slice of toast. And I was just like, I hadn't eaten in so long. Back in the day, they didn't want you or let you eat anything, nothing. No eating, no drinking, ice chips. That's all. And I already was hungry. That's a whole other story. Before I even went to the hospital, I hadn't eaten. So, and I like to eat. I was so hungry. So my mom and dad came in, and after they saw my beautiful baby, I was just like, I'm so hungry. What do you want us to get? I don't know. They brought me an egg McMuffin from McDonald's, and they got them to make it after the time they served it or whatever, because they must have said, like, we just had a grandbaby, and so yeah, I remember that. And so I've rarely gone there, but I did go to McDonald's when I was visiting my grandchildren, and had a great time, and went to other restaurants. And my grandson, he loves his hamburgers, and I just want to put that message out: be smart with eating certain foods. Be really, really smart. Some of them aren't the best for us, and just make sure it's cooked well, and that who's handling it. And I won't even get into these like illegal street food vendors that people go to. I mean, what we put in our body, and I know I am not like this picture of nutritional health, but we got to be careful. And the other thing that I learned is, if somebody's going through like treatment, like chemotherapy, that type of stuff, I have learned they tell them, don't eat fresh produce. Well, fresh produce can be hard on our immune system because of contaminations, So it's like, though it's good for us, it's like a double-edged sword if it's not being produced right. And we know there's just contaminations happening in these companies, and just like, maybe that's why we should pray and be thankful and say, please nourish our body before we eat something. Take care. Love you guys. JST.